Okay, this is take 9 or 10, I don't know. I've been trying to do this video for so long, but now I'm up on the roof, so no one can disturb me now. So that's the Atlantic Ocean just out there. Direct to South America will probably be in that direction. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to get on this video, let me turn this way so you actually see my black face. The reason why I wanted to get on this video is because I was talking with one of my colleagues the other day. There had been like a spate of pickpocketing kicking off in the local market, Serekunda market. It's a really busy market, and you know what these young men are doing are going out there and pickpocketing the sellers. You know, the women who are out there selling fruits and veg for little or nothing, and then you're getting some tow rag who's coming around and trying to pickpocket them. And so the older ones had a little conflab and decided that they needed to do something about it, and they put in place like a sort of a group who went through the market, rounded up those who either they were told were doing these pickpocketing or they suspected of doing it, pulled them aside and made sure they knew in no uncertain terms that that kind of behaviour is not going to be accepted. And it was so refreshing to hear of, like, you know, people taking such an interest in their community to the point where they're not sitting back and waiting for the police to catch the person red-handed and go through all the judicial drama, but just to, you know, cut it out before it starts getting any worse. Because the way he sees it is that if you sit back and allow for people to pickpocket and they get away with that, then obviously the next step is going to be, well, just mugging people straight. And then after that, then, well, why not just go to their house, buy their out and rob their house? You know, it starts to get worse and to the point where you can't actually control the criminality. So they nip it in the bud from the beginning to ensure that it doesn't go any further. And, you know, that is a practical example of keeping a code of conduct within your community so that you can ensure that there is cohesiveness and you can ensure that people can live in peace and the women don't have to be scared of going out. And I really wish that was possible, you know, in London. Somehow to see it being possible, being able to go out there and sort of duff up people you think are not doing nice things to the community. Maybe not, but that code of conduct mentality can be copied and should be. There's no need for us to be co-signing by our silence people who may be involved in things that are not good for our community. We have to be willing to, you know, speak out on the things that we don't agree with. So I really want to put that forward as a practical example of what happens here in the Gambia. How this country is such a peaceful country in comparison to its neighbours. If you go to Senegal, you know, you feel like you're on edge. Well, I did anyway. A lot of people I've spoken to have said the same thing. They felt like they're on edge when they get into Dakar, when they get into the main city. It's a lot faster. I felt the same way when I went to Kenya, when I was in like in the main city there as well. But over here, it's a lot more chilled because people haven't sort of kind of just stood back and allowed the government to manage everything when it comes to, like, you know, peace and security in the community. It's something that we can all work on, I think. But then also there's things that I see here that I think the locals could work on. And so I wanted to talk about something that I see here that really could change. We could really do something. Now, those people who are out there pickpocketing people who are trying to sell, you know, onions and peppers. Obviously the reason is that there is a lack of money for everybody to be able to partake of, and so now when that happens, people start getting more and more desperate. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, just one example is that Usually, right now everything is dead. Look at look at the road down there. Like there's nobody around. I should go to the main road and see. There's like it's a ghost town for the most part. There's very few people around. You can see the main road over there. So I'll just go over there and turn my back there so you can see like how busy the main road is. So now when the tourist season is open. There you go, so you're about to see that now. When the tourist season is open, you have like 250 to 300,000 people turn up here, and all of them are looking for food. All of them need to eat every day. All of them need to eat. So there's literally billions of Dalasi that are, going through these hotels and these restaurants, and they all eat potatoes, all of them. And potato is such an easy cash crop to be able to grow here. Here you could just throw some potato peel down, they will grow into potatoes. It's not that kind of difficult, and anything you didn't know you can find on YouTube. But what they do here is that the vast majority, I'd say almost 100% of the potatoes that are sold to those people who are in these hotels and in these restaurants are being imported from Mauritania. So when you go into Banjul, which is way down that way, you'll find that there are loads of these buildings, where there's like tons of potatoes and onions that are there that have been imported to be able to sell here in order for the money to come from tourists, and then that money goes back to Mauritania. It doesn't even get here. So there's no reason why, as a Gambian, you couldn't grow potatoes and sell them at a lesser price than what it takes to it to be imported, because they don't have the same kind of incentives that they do in Europe and in the Americas, where they will, subsidize imported goods so that the locals can't actually compete. Right now that's not going on, so you can actually compete. I've been able to sell a crop that is being imported. So even if you don't have to be like a massive supplier. All you need to do is get a slice of a smidgen, of a piece, of a part of that billion Dalasi business every year, and you and your family would live good. And you can just bypass the whole importing process and all the rest of it. It would be better as for a business to be able to say, yeah, what you're eating is all locally sourced. Everything you're eating is locally sourced. We don't need to import anything anymore, and it doesn't have to happen. So for my brothers and sisters of the Gambia who may come across this video, if you're in a situation where you're working hard, and you're finding that the money that you're making isn't actually enough to get through the rest of the month, right? It doesn't mean you need to get a second job. It doesn't mean that. It means that what you need to do is to plant some potatoes before you go to work, and in a couple of months' time, those potatoes are going to be ready to pick. You take those bad boys and you sell them over the market, make that money, then go to work and increase that year on year to the point where you don't need to work anymore, because you'll have enough of a farm where you won't have to do that anymore. This is a possibility, and it's vast. There's so much land out there just doing nothing, just sitting there doing nothing. You're walking on money and you're not actually taking part of that opportunity. So I really want you to consider that as an opportunity. Let me stop rambling. Thank you very much for listening. Please like and share this video. I want to try and get as many people to be interested in the Gambia to come over and check the place out, because it is a place of beauty, it's a place of wonder. The people are great, the climate is great, the views are great, and all we need to do is get you here. All right, this is Marley. Peace.